I have decided to register Mimo.meet as an official business here in Singapore. Hi, it's been the hottest minute. I haven't been catching up with you guys for the longest of time. The last video that I did was the end of last year, where I talk about the end of my career break. And I finally have some time to sit down and catch up with you guys to talk about what's been going on the last couple of months. And it's crazy to think we are already halfway through 2026, and it's almost a year ago when this was the time that I just flew to Finland to do my residency. It still feels like just a couple of months ago, but a year has flew by just like that. Right. So I haven't been documenting as much on this channel as well as my Instagram because life kind of caught up and I've been struggling to get by in a sense. So at the end of last year, after my career break, I decided to give myself another year or two to further see how far I can push myself as a ceramicist here in Singapore, right? And with that came the decision of me not looking for a full-time career, and at the same time I started to think, oh, I don't think it's fair to call this still a career break. I think I would like to position myself as I'm taking a career transition from a craft that I love for a decade or more, which is design, and now I'm moving into another field, which is ceramics, right? Does this mean I will stop being a designer? I would say no. I think I still love being in the creative field and doing design work, and a lot of that knowledge still can be applied while I pursue my ceramics career, right? But I just want to briefly talk about the struggles, perhaps. I think with the ever-changing landscape of the creative industry and with how rapidly AI has been evolving the past couple of years, it has been going at such a rate that I feel I'm falling behind if I don't constantly feed myself for what's going on in the creative industry, what's the latest tool that people are using, what's the trends. But at the same time, if I want to put time into that, I'm also taking time away from doing ceramics. So I'm at this cross juncture that yes, while I'm trying to further push myself as a ceramicist, I also met with a lot of struggles because while I want to grow my ceramic studio and practice, but the truth is that I'm still freelancing as a designer because that still gives me some form of financial income at this current state of play before my ceramic studio get anywhere further, right? So I'm caught in this in between, and every day has been challenging because I have to split myself two ways, right? There's the side of me where I have to face realities that I need to put food on the table, I still need to pay the bills. There's so many responsibilities I still need to adhere to, which even though I've been cutting down a lot on my lifestyle ever since I left my job, but still I have to make sure that I have enough to feed me for months ahead, while I can dedicate time to do ceramics. So that's been a constant struggle. I feel there are days where I wake up where I'm pulled away between the both. I want to sit down, not think about anything, and just do ceramics. But at the same time, the back of my mind is thinking about, oh, I don't have income for the next 1 to 2 months. Do I have enough for me to last till my next rodeo in the freelance industry? I don't know. Then I need to start looking out for what brings me income. So that's one of the reasons why I haven't been as actively documenting my journey, because I think I was almost in a survival mode, you would say, trying to make sense of everything. Another reason is because I was also so consumed by trying to get my studio up and running. So if you've been following me on my Instagram, I recently rebranded Made Studio so that it goes in line with the new direction I want the studio to encompass. I think ever since coming back from my residency, I could feel like there's a new direction, new energy that I pour into my work. And the previous branding kind of doesn't coincide with that mindset anymore. So I wanted a new branding that really captures what is this new direction, where am I heading towards. At the same time, this new branding hopes to expand to the many different fields that I want to explore, right? So that has been what I've been working on. I'm proud to say that the brand has finally relaunched. My new website has been up and running, mimomade.com. There's still a lot to be done. And I also have been trying to convert to a home studio setup. Last time I used to rent a space in a ceramic studio when I still had a full-time job, but I realized that I don't think I can upkeep the monthly amount of money I put in to rent a space there. And so I decided to move back into my art studio and made a little corner to do clay, right? But I noticed that it's such a mess to juggle between two sides of the studio. I wanted a cleaner space, a smaller space where I could just focus on doing ceramics. So I carved out the room and have been working on building up the space where that is where I ultimately do all my ceramics work. And that has been great so far. I think it still needs a bit of work, right? But that has been helpful for me to move away from this bigger studio that I have, right? Because in that clay studio, I can just lock myself in and just concentrate on doing ceramics for a couple of hours, and I kind of tap out. Me thinking about what is this new setup, how do I document myself in this new space, which I'm still figuring out. If you watch some of my newer process videos, I've been experimenting with top-down videos as well as much more close-up focus shots that are mostly focused on the making process, less on my overall shot. So that's the new direction that I've been taking in terms of documenting my process as well. So those are things that have been keeping me busy. Now I want to talk about what is coming up from now till the end of year for Mimo.made, right? So good news, I have decided to register Mimo.made as an official business here in Singapore. So right now I am registered as a sole proprietor. And why I decided to do that, because I think that also kind of holds me accountable to constantly push myself, because now that it's an official business, I want to know that I will need to set certain milestones for me to constantly grow and bring in some form of financial stability to this business in order for it to sustain itself, right? So that was kind of the push needed. On top of that, for the first time this year officially, I'll be selling my works at some upcoming events. For the first one, I'll be participating in Asia Craft Fest happening in July. I'll be selling some of my works that I've done during my residency, and also some of my newer works that I've been exploring in my new studio. And I will also be participating in Clay Festival this year. Exciting, I think. For 2 years, I've always been a visitor and also supporting friends who've been boothing at Clay Festival. And this year, I feel like I'm confident enough to step out and show my works and see what comes out of it. So those are kind of the two milestones I'm working towards. And also, I am bringing back ceramic play shop. If you know, I had run ceramic play shop about a year ago, right? I did a few sessions of ceramic play shops before I left for my residency, and I'm trying to bring back. So what is ceramic play shop? I think I've always have this desire to share my knowledge and growth and my understanding of clay. And I wanted to do it in a way where we are just focused on the process rather than the outcome. So it's a bit of a introductory to hand building and clay, while at the same time you're not pressured to think about what you're trying to make at the end of the session or during the session, right? When you come to ceramic play shop, you're not stressed to create something beautiful, right? Instead, ceramic play shop is really just tapping into like your inner child curiosity, focusing on play, learning the material, learning the techniques, and just see what comes out of it. At the same time, you also sharing this experience with a group of people, whether it's peers that you're attending with, friends, or even a group of strangers that you never met before who just come together and just want to play. And then you can collaborate with them, co-create with them, have conversations with them. All in all, ceramic play shop wants to capture all this essence. It's a bit of introductory to hand building. At the same time, it's a bit of art therapy, and it's a bit of a casual kind of like meetup session as well. So that was the premise of why I started ceramic play shop. And in season 1, the season 1 was very focused on conversation. It's about having conversations with other participants in the group. What can you create and what can you create together at the same time. It's also teaching a bit about letting go of our desire to hold on to our creation. So in season 1, through conversations, you allow others to add their touch of imagination to the pieces that you started with. It's also to teach you about letting go of your attachment to the things you make. So there's all this different kind of like empowerment at the same time as understanding clay is such a therapeutic medium to work with. So season 1 was that, and it was a lot of fun through the sessions that I've held. And season 2, why I also wanted to bring it back along with the new knowledge that I've learned during my residency. I think I kind of miss just sharing my knowledge and teaching. So season 2 is very focused on our body and hands. This time around, season 2 is just seeing what with our bare hands, our body can lead us to create. So a lot of the times when we create, we have an image in our mind, but season 2 wants you to reverse that idea. Let our body lead the creation, and then let our mind make sense of it afterwards. So in season 2, there's no tools involved. You're just making with your bare hands. At the same time, you are given some natural materials to work with as tools. I think these are the things that I learned during my residency, when I had to build my studio from scratch from an empty room, and also work with the inspiration from nature, the tools that I've gathered during my nature walks. And it was such a enriching experience, so I wanted to share that in season 2. So if you are interested in something like this, do sign up. I just released 2 sessions that will happen in the month of May, and I hope to continue to run Ceramic Play Shop season 2 for a couple more sessions throughout the upcoming months, while I take a break and think about what the next season will be about, what is the kind of knowledge I want to share. So those are the things that has been going on this couple of months. I'm glad that I'm slowly getting back into this rhythm of creating and documenting my journey, and I would like to share more as I prepare for my 2 festivals is coming up. So you hope to see more of that documentation process, whether it's just documentation of my process in creating new works, exploring new clays, or it's just me sitting down, yapping, talking about my struggles and sharing my thoughts, whichever that is. So I want to thank you for following and watching. And if you are interested to collab, or if you just want to share your thoughts, your journey, you want to have a conversation, feel free to reach out. I'm always happy to talk to people about this, because I think one thing I struggle the most if ever since I decided to push this as a business, and also focusing as doing freelancing, is that this journey can be pretty lonely at times, because you take yourself out from a corporate system and you are now fulfilling all the different roles that you used to know, working with peers, having supervisors that give you critiques and feedback on how you're performing, your progress. Then there's also some kind of matrix in terms of achievement in the work that you've done. You take yourself out of that system, and now you're placing yourself in a new system where you are fulfilling all these roles, right? You are the one holding yourself responsible for the work that you're producing. At the same time, you are also holding yourself responsible for all the mistakes that you make. You need to sit down and evaluate yourself, give yourself feedback, criticism, encouragement to keep going. So it can be a very lonely journey at times. I find myself that a lot of the days I'm just trapped in my own studio. If I don't force myself to go out and mingle with the community outside, I can be so stuck in my head. And when I'm often in that mode, it can be very tiring, because you start to have this kind of self-doubt where, am I doing enough? Am I doing things right? And nobody have answers to that if you're just in your own world. You need to go outside, consume what the world has to offer, go touch some grass, go talk to people who are also facing similar struggles in their own capacity, and you start to realize that, oh, actually you're just a specker in this whole world trying to figure things out, and there are also other people sharing the same journey with you. Then you don't feel as much as you as lonely as you think you are, right? So yeah, that's what I've been wanting to share so far. So once again, thank you for watching, thank you for following on this journey. I will do my best to document more of this process and journey. So bear with me while I try to figure things out in this whole new system that I'm trying to build for myself. And I'm excited to see where my ceramic practice will take me this year. Till then, I'll see you next time, and do stay safe and hydrate. The weather has been crazy. Till then, I'll see you. Goodbye.